It pierces mythology. Welcome to the latest edition of Between Two Lotuses. I'm your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. A little backstory on myself. I'm the son of Jupiter and Semele. Now, upon Jupiter learning of my mother's treachery with a falsified oath, he killed her. Anyway, my wife, my beautiful wife Ariadne, was once betrayed on an island by Theseus. Upon viewing her beauty, I just couldn't help myself, and I gave her a crown on our wedding day. That crown sits among the stars where she was sent when she died. And here we have Hercules, the man himself. Look at those triceps. Now, Mr. Hercules, give me a little background on yourself.
Well, myself, I'm a son of Jupiter. Not a legitimate son, given. Son of kind of a bastard son. So, I was born the son of Jupiter, which pissed Juno off to no end, let me tell you.
Oh, women.
You know. So when I was an infant in my crib, and then I realized there were two serpents on the rims coming down to kill me.
I heard that rumor. Was that true?
You're about to find out. Ooh. So what I did with these serpents, strangled my bare hands.
Wow, that is a man right there. Am I right, folks?
Yes.
Well, once I was old enough, and then I was joined by Eurystheus on what I call my 12 labors of Hercules, which was basically me just doing all the gods' dirty work for him.
Now, give me the highlights of these 12 labors.
Well, to keep it short for you, it's a lot of me stealing stuff, and it's a lot of me killing stuff.
Ha.
So the one I'm most proud of personally is killing the Hydra.
Oh, baby.
Giant nine-headed lizard.
Yeah, so I've heard.
The catch is, you cut one off, two more go back.
What a task.
Mm-hmm. So the only way to actually kill the Hydra is to cut a head off and burn it. And then the ninth head is immortal, which me and my faithful companion Eurystheus, we buried under a rock. So not really killing it, just kind of keeping it there.
Put it away for a while.
Yeah.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was this task for you?
3.
My. We are in the presence of greatness, folks. Now, tell me about this queen of the Amazons.
So the Amazons, they had this queen named Hippolytus. What a shrew, you know?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So the deal was I had to go get her girdle, and then I had the girdle in hand, ready to leave, and then, what do you know, my cruel mother Juno comes down from the heavens, disguises herself as an Amazon. She tells the rest of them that I was carrying off their queen, which I of course was not. So they were all furious and pissed off about this, so they took up arms, went down to the docks to try and ambush me. So I killed Hippolytus in front of them, and I went on my way.
Wise words from a strong man. Now, tell me about this mortality. I understand that Jupiter, for lack of a better word, burned away what kept you a man and kept you from the gods. Tell me about that.
So the story with that was, I died.
Okay.
Short and simple. And to keep me living, but just the God part of me living, which would be the part I got from Jupiter, Jupiter had my body, my mortal body that is, put in fire to burn away all of the mortal and leave just the God, so I would become a full, true God. And then I earned my rightful spot among the gods.
What a great story. And a word from our sponsor. We'll be back in a minute.
And now a few words from loyal patrons.
Well, I'll tell you, Dylan. These are my two favorite books regarding mythology, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Pierce, what's the Iliad about? The Iliad is about the final weeks of the Trojan War. As you know, the Greeks traveled to Troy because of Helen of Sparta was taken from Menelaus. That's what, in short, the war was all about. And now the Odyssey, that is about the aftermath of the Trojan War, when Odysseus tried to return to Greece. I'll tell you, these are works of magic by Homer, who, contrary to popular belief, did not complete all of these by himself. Many other unknown writers contributed to these works.
I see.
Yes.
What great writers they were. Now, my favorite books, personally, would be that of Ovid, such as the Tristia and the Letters to Pontus. Now both are about similar topics, and that they're both mostly about his life after his exile from Rome. Ovid was exiled from Rome because of suspicions he was speaking out against the royal family, the family of Augustus. So the Tristia and the Letters to Pontus, they're just kind of about his sorrows and griefs after his exile from Rome.
Many years of sorrow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Between Two Lotuses. I am your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. And here I have Theseus, whereas you might know from previous episodes that him and I have quite the history. He was once with my wife, beautiful Ariadne, whom I love very much, when he deserted her on an island where I found her. Now, Theseus, sir, tell me about when you slew the mighty Minotaur.
Well, as you know, there's a Minotaur sitting in the maze somewhere. This maze would be called the Labyrinth. Now, your fine wife, Ariadne, she gave me a string to lead me out of there once I was finished with my task of slaying the Minotaur. Once I did so, I simply followed the string back out, and
The story of the Minotaur is quite frightening. Now, tell me what happened with your father.
That's a sad story, let me tell you. So, on my way back from killing the Minotaur, the plan was that I would put white sails up on the ship when I was nearing the port to show to my father that I was still alive and I was alive and well coming back home. I forgot to change the sails. He killed himself. Threw himself off the tower and killed himself. Yeah, thanks for asking about that.
So your father's death was all your fault.
Yeah, thanks for asking about that.
That is dark. Now, tell me about the Amazons.
Well, I had before they were able to recover from Hercules' attack on them, which, he didn't have the guts to actually speak his mind and carry off their queen. I did. Because, I'm a go-getter. I see something, I take it. So I carried off their queen, which, of course, pissed them off. So they actually came to Athens and attacked me. And they fought their way through the entire city, but I was finally able to turn them around when they got to the center of the city. And I just slaughtered them endlessly, and then they ran.
You are a great warrior.
Thanks. You're a great host.
Thank you, sir. Now, thank you, and a word from our sponsor.
Oh yeah, I'm
Ladies
not
and
behind the
gentlemen.
camera anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this edition of Between Two Lotuses. I am your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. Here I have Daedalus and his son, Icarus.
What's up?
Now, tell me about this lad.
It's a maze in simplicity. But this maze is so intricate, no man has ever found his way out. Not one. They've all either just starved to death simply, or they've been met by the Minotaur, the mighty half-man, half-bull creature.
So I've heard. That is quite the structure.
It's a pretty strapping guy, you know.
There's only half female. Am I right?
Now,
Oh, Icarus.
here we have your son, Icarus, the ghost of Icarus, I should say, which, as you can see. Now, Icarus, my child, what happened to your wings?
Well, you know, the funny thing is, when you get the wings, they don't tell you there's about like a foot where it's like safe to fly. You think you can dip a little lower, go a little higher, but the second you dip a little lower, oh, your wings are broken because they're too wet and you know they're made of wax. Or you fly a little high and they get melted by the sun. You think?
I explicitly told you this before we left. I said, stay with me and you'll be okay.
Why'd you have to build them out of wax?
What did you do? You didn't listen to me. And what happened?
Shut up, Dad.
It's what I thought. You flew too close to the sun, Icarus.
Clearly tensions are high. Now, tell me about this temple that you built for Apollo after your son's death.
Well, at the time when my son died, I was racked with mourning and grief.
I'm sorry, you were wrecked?
Racked.
I don't like to do it with my hands.
You just kind of keep them at your side. You don't have
Icarus, you don't have hands.
Oh yeah.
what you think of your hands. So then, after Icarus here died, I hung up the wings for good. I
You were
was distraught.
Please.
Easy.
You were distraught.
I was distraught. So I hung up the wings for good, never to fly again, only to stick to the ground. And then, just to kind of praise the sun a little bit, to respect his power, I built a temple to Apollo,
Noble man.
where it remains to this day.
Oh, you built a temple, but you had to make the freaking wings out of wax. You
We gonna start this again?
spared any expense.
It's gonna be like Thanksgiving last year?
Thanksgiving doesn't exist yet, Dad.
Maybe you it doesn't.
Go.
Good.
Welcome again to this edition of Between Two Lotuses. I'm your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. Here I have Castor and Pollux.
The Gemini
Now-
twins.
Yes, we'll get to that, sir. Now tell me about your relationship.
Well, see, my brother and I here, we were born from the same egg, so we're pretty much inseparable. Literally inseparable. So, when... Here comes the sad part. When Castor here died, I communed with Jupiter and tried to trade my life so he could live again. Now, Jupiter had a better plan. His plan, so we could share the boon of life equally, he took us and put us among the stars, as the constellations Castor and Pollux,
Gemini twins.
the Gemini.
In other words, that's touching. I'm deeply touched by that story.
Don't cry now.
I'll be all right. Now, would you say that you do everything together?
For the most part.
That's lovely. Isn't that lovely, folks? Here we have the Gemini twins. Thank you. And welcome back to this edition of Between Two Lotuses. I'm your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. My guest today is the huntsman, the only man alive to have witnessed three majestic beasts such as the basilisk, the phoenix, and the unicorn. Sir, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Nothing wrong here.
Nothing to worry.
No,
Nothing to be worried about. Your travels. Tell me about this phoenix, this Bird of fire.
Phoenix. It's bird on fire, okay? Got red and gold plumage, okay? Got it so far?
Sure, yes.
Okay. Sets everything on fire. Everything. Trees, houses, children, stakes, anything. They live about 500 years on average. Then
No, sir. That's just a cameraman. Don't worry, sir. You are safe here in our studio. Not to worry about a thing.
where was I? Oh yeah, 500 years.
500 years.
500. 5 centuries if you're good at math.
I am good at math.
And then when they finally reach the end of their life, they build a nest atop a tree where they gather cinnamon, myrrh, other spices like that. And then when the parent phoenix finally dies, instead of laying an egg like a normal bird, the young phoenix just bursts from the corpse.
You witnessed this.
Not myself, but I know a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy's cousin.
That is amazing. Wow, I am awestruck. I am thunderstruck, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the basilisk. Tell me about this creature.
Basilisk. King of serpents he is. King. Got a crown even got a crown to show it.
A snake with a crown.
Snake with not a literal crown, but crown enough. So, basilisk, you know how most snakes, they kind of stay on the ground?
Yes. Like a slither.
Slither. Slither in. So they just kind of slither, they stay low to the ground. This one, I don't know, he's like a cobra. He's up all the time, moving up,
proud.
moving vertically, he's got his head up. So then, so scary this monster is.
I cannot even imagine, sir.
Scares all other snakes away. All other snakes and all other creatures away.
What a sight.
You
You are a brave
sight to
man.
behold.
You are a brave man. Now, this unicorn. Tell me. Tell me about this creature. It says, am I reading this correctly? The tail of a boar, the feet of an elephant, the head of a deer, and the body of a horse. Is this all true?
This is true. Wow. And a horn that would make Hades. Hades, but I'm not some kind of Greek. Would make Pluto. His favorite color was of white compared to
He
this
would
horn.
quake in his boots, ladies and gentlemen.
Shivering in his snakeskin boots.
Unbelievable. Sir, you are a man. You are a man's man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Once again, sir, it's all right. It's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, the huntsman. Back to you in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this edition of Between Two Lotuses. I'm your host, Bacchus, the god of wine and good times. You are in for a treat today, as my guest has come all the way from Delphi. Here we have the Oracle of Apollo, otherwise known as the Pythia. Ma'am, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule. Now, tell me your story. Tell me how Delphi, how did that come to be the earthly place of Apollo's word? Tell me your story.
Apollo says, goats fall down mountain. Goat herd tries for himself. Villagers think goat herder's insane. Decide to call priestess. Me, priestess, prepared for job. Fountain, bathe me in.
Now you sound very worn out. Is this a very tasking job?
Speaking the word of Apollo, no task for mere mortal. Through my veins does his power flow.
You have quite the job, my lady. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the presence of a woman of the gods. Now, how often does Apollo summon you to speak his word to us mortals down here on earth?
When worthy traveler approach, Apollo's word do I speak.
Well, we don't want to wear out that voice. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as well.
Mission B.
Thanks.